Let me begin by just thanking all of you for being here today. It is a bittersweet day for Dakota Wesleyan. It's always hard when transitions happen and people and positions change, especially one that has had such a profound and I believe will be lasting impact on Dakota Wesleyan. So today we announce the retirement of Curt Hart. And it's difficult to say goodbye to outstanding leaders. But it is also a good day because we have an opportunity here to publicly thank and recognize Curt for the significant impact he has had on this university, our coaches, our student athletes, our alumni, our administration, and the GPAC Athletic Conference. Curt is a model of servant leadership, always giving credit first to the athletes and coaches, always advocating for their best interest. Curt was rarely about himself and always about those he served. In 2007, I met Curt during a registration day where he was enrolling his son Jon as a college freshman at Dakota Wesleyan. And he pulled me aside. He probably doesn't remember this. He pulled me aside, and during our conversation, he asked me, "Are we going to get something done with the wellness center here at Wesleyan?" I could tell even then, as a caring father, he thought we needed to make some improvements. 1 year later, he showed up in my office with then Vice President Neil Blair to discuss the possibility of working part-time for Dakota Wesleyan. And it was in 2008, and he wanted to help us raise some money for the football team. And I thought, this might be a good idea. And so I vowed not to share this ever, but I'm going to tell the story because I think it speaks so highly to the kind of person Curt is. But I'm sitting across the table, and in 2008, the times at Dakota Wesleyan were tough. We had gone through a financial recession. The endowment value had dropped. We were kind of squeezing dollars on campus, and we were always mindful of how much our tuition cost the students, so we didn't want to up tuition any more than we had to. And so I looked at Curt and said, "I really have very little money." And he goes, "Well, what are we talking about?" And I said, "Well, I can pay you $15,000 to work here full time." And he said, "I'll do that." Now, I know we don't want any of our students to leave Dakota Wesleyan and make $15,000 a year, but Curt was a retired banker and he had a heart for the students, and honest to God, that is where he started at Dakota Wesleyan, and that's the kind of service he provided. Now, we have since upped his salary, commensurate, I think, with a lot more of what he does. But just to tell you, that's the kind of person he is. He started from a position of saying, "I really don't need anything. I'm here for the students and what they can do and what we can do together as a university." When he started, he was the development director. And we, within 4 months, needed a new athletic director. So we began a search process looking at various candidates, and we really could not come to an agreement on the next best person to serve as athletic director at Dakota Wesleyan. So I remember sitting and calling Curt one night and then saying, "Can we meet in my office tomorrow?" And we began a discussion. I said, "What about you as athletic director?" And he's like, "Me?" I said, "Yeah, honestly, I think you'd be the best thing for Dakota Wesleyan. So let me think about it." About 20 minutes later, he called back and said, "I think that's a good idea. Let's talk about how we can do this." And from then, the trajectory of Dakota Wesleyan athletics has only gone up. He has fundamentally transformed what has happened at this university. Our teams are stronger. Our athletic programs are stronger, both academically and in their performance. This year, every one of our teams was recognized for their outstanding GPA and their significant contributions as a team that embodies the champions of character principles. These teams represent some of the strongest in Tiger history, not only in the wins and loss columns, but fundamentally in what it means to be a student athlete, in academic performance, in leadership development, in character-driven choices. When I first came to Wesleyan, our coaches were not terribly cohesive as a group. There was competition among them and an atmosphere in which people were in for themselves, not really part of a team. Today, I think every one of our coaches would tell you that atmosphere is much different, in large part because of Curt's leadership. He has modeled what it means to be on a team and the value of team support. So our golf team cheers on wrestlers, and our basketball coaches provide entertainment at halftime of the soccer games. But most importantly, he created a culture of respect and integrity that pervades the entire athletic department. Every single coach on this campus speaks boldly to the impact of Curt's leadership on their respective programs. Many described him as a coach's coach, arguably a profound description of servant leadership. Curt has also provided invaluable leadership to the President's Council and leadership team, from asking critical questions to analyzing business plans for new initiatives, to trying to understand the perspective of other team members, to always advocating for his students. Curt's advice has been sought after and deeply valued. His engagement and efforts both in the fundraising and planning process of the new facility stand as a pinnacle of his contributions to DWU. The Teammaker group is stronger and more cohesive than ever. Support for Wesleyan athletics is at record high levels. And while it takes a team to achieve all of that, Jon Hart, by all accounts, spearheaded the bold progress that has defined the tenure he has had at Dakota Wesleyan. In addition to all of these outstanding outcomes, perhaps Curt's greatest impact has been with the individual student athletes with whom he has countless interactions. From writing personal cards to recruit them, to pep talks in his office, to the high fives he gives them coming off the court, Curt has been, at his heart, an exceptional advocate for our students. Today, we thank a leader, we thank a colleague, we thank an advocate, we thank a friend. All of us who knew and worked with Curt are better leaders because of him. I want to personally thank him for his advocacy, his counsel, and his friendship. I have deeply valued working with you. Friends, please join me in thanking Jon Hart for the transformation he led in Dakota Wesleyan University athletics. His impact will continue to be felt for years to come, and may he always bleed blue. At this time, we have two student athletes who would also like to extend their appreciation to Curt for the work he's done on their behalf. We'll start with Morgan.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Morgan Straub, and I am a junior nursing student on this campus, and I've been affiliated with the track and field team here. Amy had asked me if I could come and speak on behalf of the student body, and I couldn't be more honored to do so. But she told me I only had about a minute, and that was an issue for me because not only, it wasn't what am I going to talk about for a minute, it was I need to decide what I'm not going to talk about for a whole minute. So I had to pick and choose what I needed to say during my time. So I, of course, turned to social media and decided to see what some of my fellow classmates and the whole student body was saying about Curt. And this is just a few things that people have been saying. He's the man who took a chance on my athletic career. He was vital for so many great milestones during his time at Dakota Wesleyan. And Jon Hart served our university with the utmost class and integrity. And that's just a few of the things that all of you have been saying about him. The first thing that comes to my mind about Curt is he's an advocate. He's an advocate for all of us on and off the court, no matter where you are in life. And to the man who took a chance for our team, especially coming from the track and field team, he watched us in the afternoon sprinting up and down the hallways, going over hurdles, breaking walls in the gym with our discs and shot puts. He's seen it all, and he was an advocate for us. With our transition and our coaching staff with the track team, he also took a chance with us. He brought us in, and he's done this not only with the track team, but with many other athletic teams on this campus, as far as what do you want as a student? Who do you want to be your leader? And so forth. He was an advocate for us. He always wants what's best for us. And he's a man that has held us to higher standards. In the basketball games especially, all of us Tigers can get a little rowdy over there. And all Curt has to do is shoot us a look. He doesn't even have to say anything. And it's that kind of relationship of, we know what Curt expects of us, and we don't want to disappoint him, and he's going to hold us to those standards. And he doesn't only do that with student athletes, but he does that with faculty and staff as well. And we can't thank you enough. On behalf of the student body, Curt, we appreciate you, and we are very thankful to have you a part of our lives.
Thanks, Morgan. I'd also like to invite Trey Berg from our men's basketball program to offer a few comments.
Those were a couple tough speeches to follow after that, so I'm a little more nervous than those guys. Curt, from the men's basketball team and myself, we can't thank you enough for everything you've done. For me, coming here as a freshman, people know my story. I didn't play at all as a freshman. You treated me like I was a star. You treated my parents like they meant something when they were on the road, despite me never helping the team. So I can't thank you enough for that. The men's basketball team, we've gotten your full love, as well as all students. One thing I'd like to mention, like Amy said, you've surrounded yourselves with awesome coaches here in the last few years, and you can tell the energy and the atmosphere at Dakota Wesleyan is great. Only one I disagree with a little bit was the men's basketball hire. We're still out on that one. But no, all jokes aside, on the men's basketball team, we can't thank you enough for taking a chance on Coach Wilbur. We know he hadn't coached a ton before coming here, and what he's done for our culture and our program, we can't thank you enough for that. One thing, I got to go to Charlotte with John and Curt last year at the NAIA National Convention, and we all realized how good we have it here with Curt, and I thought maybe, I didn't know what other people thought of, and every person I saw was telling me how Curt's the man, just, you got a great guy. And so, it's not just here. People know it in the GPAC and in the whole NAIA that we have something special here. Last thing I want to talk about is just the one thing I'll never forget is after a big win at the Corn Palace, coming off that court and having you there smiling and giving us high fives is really special for all of us. I'll never forget that, and that's something I'll take with me for a long time. The way you take pride in your athletes and to see us succeed is just really special, and you believed in me and you believed in all of us, and I can't thank you enough. Thanks, Curt.
Wow. Thank you. It's a little tough now. I thought I had this down, but I don't know. A couple people I'd like to just thanks for coming here, and I didn't get a chance to greet everybody as they came through the door, but Corey Westra, our commissioner of the GPAC. Corey, will you please stand? And I just want to say something. Corey Westra, the GPAC is the greatest conference in the nation, and Corey Westra is the greatest commissioner in the nation. He is the leader. He is the leader, in my mind, of the NAIA, the best person in the NAIA to run that. And I've often treated him. I've often given him a lot of advice and treated him more like a father. But I just think the world of him, and he's just a great young man, and we're so lucky to have him as a commissioner. Thank you, Corey. I'd also like to thank Wayne Carney. Wayne Carney, would you please stand? Wayne and I worked together a long time, and you know, it took me a long time to get him straightened out. I was his boss for a while, right, Wayne? I think for 5 years, and he was just a great guy. And what a great guy for South Dakota. He knows every coach in South Dakota. He knows every. It seems like every athlete, everywhere you go. I mean, what connections Wayne Carney has in this state are unbelievable, and what he's done for this state in the many years he's been executive director of the High School Activity Association. Thanks for coming, Wayne. I really appreciate it. A good friend of mine back there, Jerry Miller, too, on our board of trustees. Jerry, thanks for all your support during the years that I've been AD at DWU. Thank you so much. I want to thank Nick McCutcheon for helping put this together today. It's a great event for me, and I you know, it's probably a little more than I deserve. And Amy always gives me more credit than I deserve, so I want to thank her. Today is a great day for this university. It's a great day to be a Tiger. I have been truly humbled and honored to be the athletic director at this university the last 8 years. Amy kind of alluded to this, but in 2008, it was a very unusual chain of events that put me in this position. I did not apply, nor did I seek out being your AD. When I accepted the position, I felt it was going to be a short-term position to stabilize the athletic department. And as the years passed, it became a place I couldn't leave. It was a passion and a mission and almost a duty to continue. I do want to thank and recognize some of the people who were on the journey with me. It is impossible to thank everyone, but I would remiss not to mention just a few. From the beginning, people like Lori Essig and Rocky Van Eye and Jackie Wentworth and Emily George, and so many staffing, and Carol, and I can look back and just mention every name. Faculty and staff, for the support and patience that you've given our coaches and student athletes, I want to thank the faculty and staff, and especially for dealing with me over the years. It's not always easy dealing with an older guy, so thank you so much for all that. I want to thank Teresa Creasy. Teresa has worked so hard with the budgets side of athletics, and Teresa is always tough, but she's always fair and supportive and a good friend. Thank you, Teresa. Marlene Warnke, Tiger Lady, the boss. She's a former student of mine. I think I had her in the 6th or 7th grade, a student, and she reversed that role when I started at Dakota Wesleyan and taught me many things over the last 8 years. A good friend who keeps the bus rolling, and thanks a lot, Marlene. Our student athletes, who have always treated me with respect. They say hanging around young people keep you young. Well, it hasn't worked on my knees and hips, but it's definitely kept me young at heart. I always have to apologize to freshmen. It takes me so long to learn all of your names. It seems like we are through the school year before I get them down, but I always recognize each of you everywhere we go. Athletes are the lifeblood and the heart of this institution. So thank you, athletes, so much. Bob Siebert, I saw Bob back there. Bob, along with the Teammaker Committee, we brought Teammakers back from the dead 8 years ago, and it's something that we're very proud of what you did. So thanks a lot, Bob, for being president of Teammakers. I really appreciate it. My wife Kelly and daughter Amanda, would you guys stand just a minute, please? Just a minute. I owe a lot to Kelly for a lot of different reasons, but 8 years ago, when I was going to leave the bank and told her that we were going to go down south, start going down south for the winters, and then I was recruited to come back up to Wesleyan to start the position here. And might I say, Amy was right about my salary here, and it was a little bit different than the banking salary. And I told Kelly we were always going to be able to go south for the winters. Well, I want to tell you that I didn't lie to her, because we made trips to Seward and Crete, Hastings, and Yankton, and they were all great trips. So thanks, Kelly. And Amanda, who in the last months has had trouble holding a job. I guess I expected that. She went from the best job in the world, working with Jason at DWU, to go to Division I at USD and now to Big Ten, Nebraska. So My income will be lower now, Amanda. So now that you're making more money than the rest of the family, you can be mailing those checks north instead of us sending them down south, okay? Okay, so I appreciate that. My son, John, many days we agree on or disagree or mostly don't agree on so much, but you certainly have done the heavy lifting in our department the last 3 or 4 years. You're always more professional than I am when handling problems, and you have become the go-to person for our coaches. So thanks, John, for making me look good. Appreciate all you've done. Okay, coaches. All of you are my extended family. You're my sons and daughters. I always wanted you to think you could come to me with anything, 24/7. I receive more from you than you ever did from me. We have a great group of coaches in place. We are so lucky and blessed to attract the people we do. I have been a part of bringing all of you here. Along the way, I've had many tough decisions that were not always popular. But right or wrong, those decisions need to be made. In this business, you see good people come and go. And I have felt that an important part of my job has been to prepare you for the next stage in your life. Thank you, coaches. Amy Novak. Amy's been with me every step of the way. My best day at DWU was the day she was named president. And by the way, that was the best day for all of you, too. We have went back and forth and bounced things off each other on a regular basis for a long time now. And I know she is often frustrated when I talk to her and lecture her more as a daughter than a boss. She has been a special friend. Thank you, Amy. In closing, I don't want you to think I'm leaving the DWU. You aren't going to get rid of me this easy. I'm planning to take on a new role, whether Teresa or Amy like it or not. We're still formulating that position. And I have a feeling the only way you'll truly get rid of me is when you carry me out the back door of the Wellness Center. So I plan to be around a long time. I've been so fortunate to be surrounded by great people, a great family, great athletes, great coaches, and a great administration, and definitely a great community. I've been so proud to tell people I am the athletic director at this university. I've said many times to my coaches and in the last 2 days, when you leave a position or a place that has been such a big part of your life, you want to leave that place better than when you arrived. With the people we have in place, I feel very confident we have done that. In the past 8 years, we have made remarkable strides on and off the field and courts. We have brought our athletic teams to historic levels. I've never been afraid of youth and inexperience. Instead, I would strive to recognize leaders no matter what their age. I wanted people who are ready for a challenge, people who were prepared to leave their mark, leave their legacy, and to create the best possible experience for every student, athlete who attends this university. Yes, today is a great day to be a Tiger. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for this opportunity. I loved every minute of it. Go Tigers. Thanks. Thanks.
With every phase in life that closes, new ones begin. And today we are also excited to share a new direction in Dakota Wesleyan University athletics. After consultation with coaches, students, staff, community members, our Board of Trustees, and conference colleagues, I am pleased to announce Jon Hart as the next Athletic Director for Dakota Wesleyan University. Jon has earned an exceptionally high level of respect from coaches, student athletes, staff at Dakota Wesleyan, and the athletic community of Mitchell, the conference, and our Board of Trustees. His outstanding work with numerous constituencies has prepared him well for the demands of this position. Friends, Jon has been the backbone of the athletic department's internal affairs, working closely with the budgeting process, compliance, planning, student staff issues, addressing parent concerns, fundraising, game day operations, and general department cleaning. Just had to add that. We really appreciate that. His professionalism and experience working at Wesleyan have positioned him for success in this new role. A graduate of DWU, Jon bleeds blue, and he deeply values the student-athlete experience and sees athletics as a vehicle for learning, leadership, persistence, teamwork, and collaboration. Our entire team here at Wesleyan is very excited to have Jon at the helm as we continue to move DWU's athletic department forward to greater growth and success. Friends, please join me in welcoming Jon Hart as the Dakota Wesleyan University Director of Athletics.
Well, I'd like to start by saying how humbled, honored, and excited I am to be the next athletic director at DWU. Ever since coming to DWU and building my passion, furthering my passion for athletics, this has been somewhat of a dream job for me. And being a former student athlete and being a part of a team, I've never wanted to really leave that athletic scene, and luckily I haven't had to do that yet. 9 years ago today, when kind of making my plans to go to a college, Dakota Wesleyan wasn't really on my radar. And if you told me that I was going to end up at DWU, I probably would have called you crazy because it wasn't close enough. It was too close to home is what it was. It was too close to home. 12 miles away from here is where I grew up, and that's not far enough away from mom and dad quite yet. So, but to make a long story short, I ended up taking a football scholarship here with some of my best friends out of high school, and the rest was history, and I've been here ever since. But that decision to come to DWU turns out to be the best decision of my life, and standing up here today is definitely proof of that. This place has given me every opportunity possible, and I can't wait to give back in this way as AD. As athletic director, there are so many opportunities and so many responsibilities that I look forward to. One being I want to continue to build support for athletic programs through alumni, partners, and community members. I want to continue to put our coaches and our student athletes in the best possible situations to excel in the classroom and on the playing field. But most importantly, I want to make sure that each person who chooses DWU has an experience that leaves a lasting impact on their life, much like the experience that I will be forever grateful for. At this time, I kind of want to give some special thanks to some groups of people and some individuals that have supported me every step of the way and are a large reason why I'm up here today. I want to thank Amy Novak, our president, Teresa Creasy, our vice president, and the entire President's Council, our Board of Trustees, for the support they've given me during my time here. and their confidence in me to take this position and lead this department going forward. The strides that we have taken under their leadership has basically been unprecedented, and I can't wait to continue to work with them even closer now as athletic director. I also want to take time to recognize the community of Mitchell and the constant support and contributions we receive from them on a partnership level and a personal level. They're the key reason why we're able to do what we do. And it's so obvious and apparent that the support that we have from the Mitchell community is second to none. And that is something that our department and this institution will never take for granted. I also want to acknowledge the GPAC conference and Corey Westra, my dad mentioned as well, who is here today. But we are so fortunate to be a part of a great conference. And Corey is really on the forefront of that and why we're successful. But I can't wait to work with you even more, Corey, and work with our member schools and to have our programs compete for more conference titles within the GPAC. I want to give special thanks to the faculty, staff, and the students of DWU. In particular, our student athletes, a lot of which you see here today, and our coaches, and the support staff of Marlene and Nick and Jerry, our FAR. Those coaches and those kids, I tell you what, there's not a second in the day that goes by that I don't think about this group. You guys are the heartbeat of this campus, and you're the people that make this place special. And I can't tell you how spoiled I am to get to work with you guys every single day. Most importantly, I want to thank my number one support group, and that's my family. And they've been with me since day one. My sister's here today, Amanda. I can't tell you how proud I am of her and all she's accomplished, and what she's done in her journey. You know, she's kind of a big timer now, but it's good to see her. I don't get to see her and pick on her as much. You know, I gave her a hard time growing up. Especially, you know, in the junior high days, high school days, and even up until her and I were going to college here together and when she was working here together. So she's probably due for a break from me for a while. She's an amazing person, and, you know, I'm older than her, but in a lot of ways I look up to her in a lot of ways. So thanks for being here, Amanda. My mom, Kelly, is also here. That's the real life superwoman over there. She's really the engine behind the scenes that keeps the Hart family going, and she's not in the spotlight. You know, she's not in the spotlight enough, but she should be. She's a longtime nurse and employee over at the hospital. She's busy saving lives, and she saved mine multiple times, I can tell you that. But she's really the glue that keeps our family together, and I'm so fortunate to be grounded and supported by her. And so thank you, Mom, for all that you do. And lastly, my dad, Curt, been my boss for the past 25 years. And don't let this retirement deal fool you, because I don't see that changing, even though he's retiring. But as a professional and as a person, I've shadowed this guy as a mentor forever, and that won't change. I'll continue to do that. There's nothing that I can really say that'll give this guy justice for what he's done for me personally, and that's a whole different day. But more importantly, for what you've done for this department over the last 8 years, you've completely transformed and revived this department, and you've left the cupboards pretty full for me. So I'm very thankful for you, Dad, and for all you've done for this department. But plain and simple, you guys, I've won the lottery when it comes to family and friends and my extended family, which is you guys, DWU, and the community of Mitchell. And I can't thank you guys enough for your support, and you're every bit of the reason why I'm up here today. I know there are many others that I'm forgetting, but I promise I'll make it a point to get out and thank each and every one of you for your support as well. In closing, I just can't begin to tell you how excited I am about this opportunity to give back to a place that's given so much to me. And there's no one that loves DWU more than this guy right here. So I can't wait to get started. Thank you guys for your constant support, and go Tigers.
at this time, we'll have a few comments by Corey Westra, who is, as Curt alluded to, just an outstanding leader in the GPAC Athletic Conference and nationally, who has a few comments about both Curt and Jon.
Well, thank you very much. Amy asked me to do this about an hour ago, so I'm going to shoot from the hip a little bit. And I feel like the guy that's been asked to close the church service in prayer. I think you all want to get out to refreshments, right? But first of all, to Curt. We have had some interesting conversations, but let me tell you what you heard today. In this world of athletics, we talk budgets, we talk enrollment, we talk all those things. They're very important. But in Curt's world, and it's so evident on this campus, the student athletes matter. And they matter to our campuses in the GPAC as well. And I think that's why you're such a great fit for this conference. As north as you may be, everything is south from here, yes. But, you are a great fit for this league. And what I've seen, I've been in this job for 13, 14 years now. The last 8 years at this campus has been unbelievable to watch. Unbelievable. So you won't retire. You're not going to go away. I'll still expect phone calls, but congratulations. And then Jon. I have a 12-year-old. I've seen that dynamic play out, and you know how kids sometimes say, "Hey, Dad, what do you really do?" And then you kind of see them grow. This is kind of that real life playing out right here. And but on a professional level, what these two have done, everywhere Curt's been, Jon has been over the last 8 years. Student athlete into his associate role. Trust me, this guy knows the GPAC, the NAI, Dakota Wesleyan inside and out. So this is a celebration day. It was great to be here and enjoy this with the family. And I want to remind Amanda, it all started as a GPAC intern. No matter where you've gone, you were a GPAC intern first, and I'm sure that's the first line on your resume. Probably not. But congratulations to all of you. And Kelly wants me to remind Curt that dinner time is at 6, and it should be hot, and it should be very good moving forward. So with that, congratulations to everyone, and have a great afternoon. Amy?
Thanks, appreciate it. Friends, it's a great day to be a Tiger, and thank you for being here to celebrate and to remember the legacy of Curt Hart and the excitement we have as we pass the torch in Hart leadership for Dakota Wesleyan moving forward. Thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of your day.